All right. Good night, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to another episode of Coral Living. And as you can see, my partner in crime is not with me tonight. He had a chance to get away early and go to the cottage this week, so good on him. Hope he enjoys it. My family's up there with his, and hopefully tomorrow I can get out of here quick and go up and join them. So for tonight, I thought I'd have a little fun touch on maybe a lighter subject and take a look at maybe spirituality and video games. Because I know if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you don't know, I filmed this live on Twitch, which is known for gamers streaming their stuff live, and I thought that this would be a good opportunity to touch a little on that for the gamers out there who are maybe playing their games and they stumble across this channel and they're like, what the heck is going on here? Because I know we talk about a whole bunch of fantastical subjects on this channel. But if you don't know, see I'm sporting my gaming shirt. I grew up with video games. I loved video games as a child. They pretty much raised me. From the moment they started, because I was born in 1980. So that was like the inception of, video games and arcades and it was really starting to get in the homes at that time. When I was a kid, before I had a console, I can remember, I don't know what birthday it was, but back when there used to be video stores and you could rent movies and stuff like that, I can remember renting consoles from the store, bringing them home on my birthday. And it was expensive back in the day. You'd rent it for a day. I remember playing Contra and Mario Brothers 2 and 3 and being in heaven, Mom would bring that home and I'd play it, from, night till morning with my friends. And it was great, One of my best probably video game memories, I don't know if I was in grade 6 or 7, but it was just when the Super Nintendo had come out. And it was like just after my birthday. My birthday was in May. And when I was a kid, big gifts in our home only came at like birthday or Christmas. So for me to get that console, I had to wait like 7 months. It was agonizing. I can remember I had this magazine of Nintendo Power. I used to sit with my flashlight, read it at bedtime, fantasizing about getting my Super Nintendo console. And it came at Christmas, and it was great, Back when I could have 2 weeks off at Christmas vacation, just, morning till night playing video games and all that jazz. But how does this video games, how do they, relate to spirituality? If spirituality is about connecting with reality and truth and all that, what's video games like? What are their part in our lives? I think they have positive and negatives. I did some research. I looked up some of the positives. A lot of the positives, I don't know. It's funny when you look up this stuff online. I only have a limited amount of time, so the sources of this stuff, I'm not sure. I tried to look up as many as I could. Some say it's linked with emotional stability. I don't know that in video games. It sounds wrong. It's linked with emotional stability. I don't know if I could get on board with that. Maybe it's true. But, there are other aspects. Like it says it improves visual motor coordination. I definitely do believe that it could possibly, that it could do that. First-person shooters, twitch sensitivity, being super fast with your fingers and all that stuff. Video games are good for building social skills. with all the multiplayer and stuff going on these days. And you know, what's more connecting with reality and each other than, you know, building these communities of gamers that get together constantly, you know, and know each other on all these levels. You know, a great memory I have as a kid would be, I know I'm dating myself here, but the N64, I remember when GoldenEye was released on that. For you classic people out there, I used to love getting together with my buddies, staying up all night, and we'd go to the guy's house who had, you know, the biggest, you know, that biggest box TV. This was before the LED flat screens and all that stuff. The big tube televisions, and you'd put GoldenEye on there with the 4 boxed screen, you know, all your wired controllers in the console, and you know, you'd all run around trying to kill each other with rocket launchers, proximity mines, and knives and stuff. It was fantastic. Had a blast doing that. I remember it was always the guy who got odd job, who you know, always had the advantage. But yeah, no, it was great. Hey guys out there, I see some of you guys are chatting there. We can maybe talk after. Let me finish my spiel here. I know we normally don't get too many guests, but I know I've been building up some followers and stuff. But hey guys, yeah. So also, when I was looking at some of the positive sides of video games, they were saying that it might help with dementia, and I think that that could be a possibility. Well, let me fix my camera here. My camera's acting up. Oh. Come on, camera. I'm gonna have to get a better camera or something. It's been acting up lately, this one. But let me fix that. I don't get it. Anyway. So, wow, it's all over the place. Anyway, I'll continue. Hopefully that's good. Wow, looks like it's all over. Anyway, so yeah, help with dementia. That could be fascinating because it's constantly the mind stimulation, firing off neurons and stuff in your brain. That could definitely be helpful for those who are, you know, suffering with that stuff. Also, if you want to blow off some steam. I know video games are great, you know, if you got that competitive gene going on inside of you, and you know, you're trying to you know, get rid of some of that aggressive energy. Video games could probably be pretty helpful for that. Also, video games are definitely known for helping with problem solving. So, puzzle games and all those types of things. They also, I found this extremely fascinating in doing some of my research. There was this game created called Sparks, which they used to help with kids and anxiety disorders and depression. And what they found was that this game actually helped these kids better than actually sitting down with psychologists and stuff like that, because it gave them a free space to not feel like they were being judged by another person. Because even though, you know, a psychologist might not be judging them, the fact that they're there and they've had that experience with other humans makes them feel that it could be a possibility. But with an AI or a robot or a video game, they felt completely free to let themselves be authentic and honest fully with the game. So who knows what they could do with that in the future? It seems like there's some really good possibilities with maybe helping people with depression and stuff in that category. But also in Germany, they did a study where they were tracking video gamers, and they found that they were really good with handling high uncertainty and they had a good skill at categorizing facts. And I'm sure there are lots of other things that video games could help with, but I thought it would also be good to maybe take a look at the negative side of video games and what they could do. And I think it was like pretty much unanimous in my research that there were a lot of psychologists, doctors that had studied video games, and they were like raising a giant flag at saying there's a major problem with the chemical reactions that it causes in your brain in the release of your dopamine. And your dopamine is that chemical in your brain that makes you feel happiness and contentment and all that stuff. And when you play video games, it stimulates your brain so much it like pumps that into like hyperdrive. And what they found is that when you're done playing the game, you all the other things that you do in your life that normally produce dopamine, the dopamine now, it's not as satisfactory anymore because the video game was doing at such a high intense level. So everything else seems kind of plain and boring compared to that video game, creating an addictive property where like you need to get back there. I was listening to one business guy talk about it, and he did like a really good job about it. He wasn't a scientist or anything, but the way he described it was really good. He said, try to like think of it as ones and twos. Think of it like as whenever your dopamine gets triggered, that's a 1. And whenever you feel pain or sadness or something outside of that, think of that as like a 0. So zeros and ones, actually. Zeros and ones. And so when you play the video game, your brain registers that 1. Like you're just getting a 1, a 1, a 1. You're just getting these rapid fire of 1s hit off in your brain. And your brain doesn't, like, it's not thinking about the context. It just knows that it's getting the 1. And so whenever you go out into your regular day life and you're not getting that rapid firing hit of 1s, and you're experiencing the 0s, your brain is only thinking about getting back to those 1s. So even when you're not playing the video game, your subconscious has been hijacked by the video game and wants to get back there. So haven't you ever noticed if you've ever played a game for a long period of time, you leave the game, you're still thinking about it? Or if you do it right before bed, you go down, you lay down, you're still thinking about it. You go to work and you're on your break time and you think about, how am I going to level up that character, get that gun, get that new gun that I want, or pass that level, or, get my, my levels up on my character. Even when you're not thinking about it, you're thinking about it. And so when your subconscious gets hijacked by that, it loses its ability to enhance itself in all the other facets of life because it's so consumed with that thing over there that it's not being able to build up the other facets of its life. Your career development, or say you wanted to write a book, or you wanted to start eating healthier. Like you're building up the other aspects of your life are getting pushed off and not noticed because of this dopamine hit that's going off, and that was like a big one. So and another thing that the business guy was noting was like high achievers, people who get like big things done. You really gotta put yourself, you got to separate yourself from the pack. You got to have your intentions set on what you want to do with your life, and you got to be high functioning, getting that brain rate working at 98%. That's where the magic happens, because it's rare that we get great ideas that push us forward and move us on, and we have an even less chance of that happening if our brain is always consumed by the games that we're playing. So, there's some addictive properties with games, man. Even also the ability to get something called gaming psychosis. There's this game called Second Life, and apparently, like, man, people killed themselves because of this game. That they got so enthralled with the game, so immersed in this other world, that they got this like psychosis that if they killed themselves, they would get to live on the rest of their eternity in this new game, which is wild. It's not the only game that's actually caused like people to kill themselves, and I think I'll touch on that a bit later. But here's where we really get deeper with it in the spiritual aspect of things, is that what is with this alternate reality thing where, what is this telling us? That we want to pull ourselves out of the reality that we're living in and trade it for another reality that is fake, presuming ours is real. We want to pull ourselves out and live in this fantasy land. Where's this going to take us in the future? With the growth, the evolution of video games, virtual reality, mixed with AI. What if we could fully unplug completely from reality? What if there was some way for us to live in a whole nother universe, that we create that is fantastical? What if we spent our whole time there where we got everything that we wanted, and left this one? Sounds like a movie I know of. What's that movie again? Oh, The Matrix. Remember The Matrix? When I was studying for this, I was thinking about. I love that scene in The Matrix when Cypher is sitting with the agents, and he says, "I don't want to remember anything. I don't want to remember anything about this life. Put me back." Yeah. And then he holds the steak up and he says, "Ignorance is bliss." He eats the steak. Well, maybe humanity might be headed for some type of thing like that. That'd be wild. I guess the future will tell. But it also makes us think about this reality. If we're just fantasizing here, you listen to these spiritual teachers and the way that they talk about what's going on. They call it awakening. Awakening from what? The illusion, the fantasy life that you're living in now. That's what they're saying essentially, is that we're living in a matrix. So what if we created a matrix to get out of this matrix? And what if you spent so long in that matrix that you forgot that you were in that matrix and you created yourself another matrix to go in? So what if we're just in an infinite loop of matrices? Woo! I know, it's crazy. It's crazy talk. But that's what we do here. We have fun here. We're talking about stuff. But it makes you think. Makes you think about what we're doing, alternate realities, what we can make for ourselves, where we're going in the future. Who knows? But I'll move on to the next phase. How I like to do. This week I don't have scriptures like I normally. Sometimes I pull from the new and the old and cults and stuff like that. It's hard to find anything like that relates to video games, but I was able to track down a little bit of, something here. In Japan, in the mid-1980s, there was this doomsday cult called Shinrikyo. And the leader of the cult, his name was Shoku Azahara. And he had taken teachings from all the religions, the mystic religions, I think even like Christianity, and he had created this doomsday cult. It didn't start off as a doomsday cult. It was originally, just getting people and them meditating and learning spiritual, probably all this life enhancement stuff. But then it turned kind of into a doomsday cult. And the leader, basically his thing was that either you join the cult or doomsday is going to get you. And the only way to stay safe from the doomsday is by joining the cult. And this guy had a colossal following. I think he had accumulated over $1 billion. This is back in like the mid 1980s. This guy had accumulated millions of dollars. So much he had like facilities where he had created chemical. It was like chemical weapons and stuff. And he had a chemical attack on the subway system in Japan, which killed like, I don't know, 13 or 15 people and injured like 100 to 1,000 people. It's, to this day in Japan, is still the greatest domestic terror attack they've ever had. And this leader, they caught him and they arrested him, and he was actually killed, I think, like executed in, what was it, 2018 or 19. Yeah, he just got it not too long ago. But it was crazy. You might be asking, well, why do you bring all that up? Because after that attack on the subway, this guy had a video game created, and there's an amazing documentary on this where you can see, you'll get the points of where I got all this stuff from. But there's this documentary on YouTube that you can check out called The Darkest Video Game Ever. And in this video game that he created, it was like an acting out of everything that happened. Even the guys who had committed the terrorist attack and stuff like that, they were in the video game. It was a really weird video game, and apparently there's like 2 endings to the video game. And if like you carry out the terrorist attack, like if you make it happen and you kill the people, then you get to like live in bliss, like infinite bliss land or something like that in this video game, which is super creepy and dark. You could probably only get this thing on the dark web if you wanted it, but yeah, the documentary on YouTube, The Darkest Video Game Ever, you can go check that out. Pretty interesting. There was also, I had done a little bit of research on other video games out there and stuff like that, and there's some pretty dark games, man. Games where people like kill themselves. Like there's this one called like the Blue Whale, where it like starts off like really like innocent, and in the game you got to do like stupid like things to earn points or life or stuff like that. But it gets like darker and darker, where you gotta keep doing creepier and creepier things until like in the end of the game you gotta kill yourself. And then people like did it in real life. So yeah, it's wild and creepy. But again, video games. What are they telling about ourselves? What are we doing with them? Where are we going with them? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. You guys can write stuff down in the comments if you want. I would love to hear from you. Also, I hope you're still doing the meditations. I know here live on Twitch I open with those meditations. So you can join me every Thursday at 8:30 to get your meditation on. Normalize this crap because it's helpful. It'll help you out. It'll make your life better, and maybe help you see facets of reality that you might have not seen before. Other than that, I want to thank you guys so much for your support, coming in and watching. If you hit the like button, share, subscribe, all that crap helps the channel out, moves things forward. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys next week, and until then, stay spiritual.